Hi, my name is Neil. Get to know me on Quiz Me. Well, my strategy from day one was always to underplay my strengths, always to be the underdog, not draw any attention to myself, make friends with everybody, and later on, once a solid alliance was formed, take that into the merge. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't let people know exactly what your strengths are. Don't brag about it. That way you outwit them. Always listen attentively to whatever's going around camp. Observe all the time. Speak little. My personal high point of Survivor experience was being voted as class captain. That just means to me that my strategy was working perfectly. In that people chose me to lead them without me having to stand on a pedestal and tell them how good I am. The low point of being on Survivor was probably missing my family, not having somebody to talk about what I was going through, and knowing that there's just a group of strangers there that may not actually be listening to your true feelings. That was a low point for me. My most memorable moment has to be the tribal vote. And memorable, positive memorable would be being voted as class captain. The low was choosing the rock. That is my lowest point. Funny moments, there were a few during the game. I can't recall absolutely every one of them, but I think very good for me was singing with the tribe and just having fun initially. Worst moment on the island was being voted out and choosing that stone and knowing that nobody outplayed you. That was the worst moment. I would most likely in future become good friends with Tom. In the short time that I was there, I formed a very good friendship with him, very solid guy, and that's the way I experienced him, and I probably would hook up with him for a beer after Survivor's all over. The most wretched person has to be Seamus. Seamus didn't contribute anything around camp, and he spent a lot of the time conniving, and I think the biggest regret for me was, biggest thing for me was that he was arrogant, didn't bother to come and speak to me, didn't get to know me, but already identified me as somebody to be taken out on day one. That's a no-no in my book. Biggest life lesson for me was, I think more of a personal affirmation of what happened on Survivor. The personal affirmation on Survivor for me was that people chose me to lead them. That's my game and the way that I lead was confirmed in exactly the way that I played. So for me, I didn't really learn lots of lessons on Survivor, but what I did was an affirmation of who I am as Neil. I was there for such a short time, so it's very difficult to predict who the winner will be. But if you have to ask me who I hope wins, I would have to go for Tom to be the winner. Nick Panagio, well, if he's playing with me in the game, he would not last. I've got a big target on his back. For firstly, the introduction of the stone, and also the introduction of that whole democratic process of voting. I think that's a bit of a blind side. So it's a new trick that I've learned, and I would love to play my own tricks on him as well. So Nick Panagio, he wouldn't last if I was playing with him. Panagio, P-A-N-A-G-I-O. Castaway on an island, the first thing you'd have to have is the means to actually support yourself. So fishing gear would be the first thing. I'd love to say a cold beer, but I don't think the beer would last long on the island. Fishing gear would definitely be one of it, and then just maybe an axe to build shelter with, and a means to get water, to get fresh water. The thing that you never do on the island, if it's in the game of Survivor, one thing you never do is tell people truly who you are, and to tell them how great you are and what great skills you have. You never do that on the island, and it's a big mistake. Always let people see in the game how good you are at anything. What show did I miss most while I was on Survivor? I like shows of strategy and outthinking, so I probably would have missed Suits the most. On the island, I love my, and this is where Seamus and I are really similar. I love my Zamalek, my Carling Black Label beer, so I really would have missed that. And probably My wife's Malva pudding. Favorite channel? It has to be 101. Just for the bouquet of lovely stuff that comes up and the shows, the greatest shows are there. My preferred device, I have an iPad, and I prefer using my iPad to stream. 3 qualities I value most in a person: honesty, trustworthiness, and a willingness to take chances. Quality that I value least in a person has to be being untrustworthy and dishonest. Famous person I'd most like to have lunch with: Michelle Obama. For 2 reasons. One is, I think she has all the qualities to be the next president of the US. And the other one, I believe that she's the true leader in the Obama family. She leads from the back. And lastly, she looks like my wife. All my destinations have to be adventurous. So the ultimate holiday destination, I probably would choose the Himalayas. My bucket list dream. Well, when we talk about my bucket list dream, we're actually talking about my second bucket list. My first bucket list has been accomplished. So my bucket list dream is, do you want all the things on the bucket list? Or but bucket list dream is Everest Base Camp. Or if I can do the 7 peaks, that would be great. You can stream Survivor on DStv now.